Welcome to Wednesday here at Crain and Company. To my left, former Michigan quarterback David Cone, and as usual, to my right, former Western State Colorado wide receiver Blaine Crain. We got a hell of a show for you guys today as we debate if the new 12-team college football playoff hurt or helped the regular season in its inaugural year. We play which is more likely, NFL edition, with the conference championship games coming up this weekend. And we talk about whether or not Dan Hurley is hurting his own team by absolutely roasting the referees. All right, Blaine, tell the people about the poll in the chat.
Absolutely. What's up, chat? What a beautiful Wednesday. If you come in, you hit that like, you hit that subscribe button. If you donate, it's on topic. It will get read at the moment. If you just donate at all, it will get read at the end of the show. Multiple polls here where you get to decide the winner. So choose me. David, tell me about that hot take hotline. I heard it's pretty hot these days.
Well, we're taking the live calls from the Booster Club on the hot take hotline. That's right. You can call in, talk to us. The number is 1-855-236-3228. Those lines open at 3:50 Eastern, 2:50 Central, 60 seconds. Give us your hottest take.
Like I said, I want it hot. It's Wednesday with an I here at Crain & Company. Let's ride. One of the biggest topics out there after the inaugural year of the 12-team college football playoff is, has it hurt the regular season? Well, in my opinion, the answer is hell no. I don't like how we pick the 12 or seed the teams, but that's an argument for another day. We'll get to it at some point. You see, college football, it is entertainment. Its main goal is to intrigue and excite you for as long as possible. And what's more exciting than having your team be able to stay alive in the postseason hunt for longer? What's more intriguing than knowing the games against lesser opponents at the end of the season actually matter now? You aren't just jockeying for a spot in the Pop-Tarts or Duke's Mayo Bowl. You still have a chance to win the whole thing. It used to be that your season could be over by week 3, and some people would tune out. And that doesn't add to the excitement. It whittles it down. How exciting is it for the big guys and the small brands now? The small brands have never had more access than right now. Hell, Boise State got a bye in the playoff. If your argument is that having 12 teams having 12 teams in the playoff makes the regular season less inspiring, I couldn't disagree more. We had more to talk about for longer this year than ever before. And the best part is, the champion is still settled on the field. It's meritocracy at its finest. Now, if your argument is about the structural nature of the 12-team playoff, then let's join arms and scream it from the mountaintops together. But after performing the autopsy of the first year of the 12-team college football playoff from a regular season standpoint, I cannot think of a year with more excitement or a regular season as enthralling. David Cone, your thoughts on the overall effect just on the regular season of having 12 teams make the college football playoff. Did it add to the excitement or did it water it down in your
Man, I have so many thoughts. First off, no college football game is unimportant or meaningless. I hear that so often, right? This made the regular season meaningless. It certainly isn't meaningless for the guys out there playing, for the coaches, people whose livelihood depends on these games. And really nothing in your life should be meaningless or unimportant. But if we're going to expand a playoff and triple it in size, then yes, the impact that regular season games have on a postseason, it's going to be less of an impact. It's just natural. And we talk about this with Major League Baseball often. Since the MLB has gone to 12 postseason teams, yes, the pennant race to get there has been watered down. And you see these wild card teams go on runs and make it to the World Series. So that much is a fact. But there's just two very important points that I want people to understand. The first one being that you can't say that some of the games in the regular season had less of an impact on the postseason without saying that some of the games had more of an impact. And I think that's a point that you're making. I mean, Ole Miss versus Florida in November had so much more of an impact than it otherwise would have, right? And I understand the criticism of people saying, well, the national champion, as we sit here right now, the OSU Buckeyes, didn't win their conference and they lost 2 regular season games, and that watered down the loss to Michigan and watered down the loss to Oregon. I understand that. But the second thing is we can't ignore the fact that teams losing a regular season game and still winning a national championship has existed in the entirety of our sport. So I pulled some numbers here. This goes back to 1937. So what's that? 88 years. In those 88 years, 63 college football teams have claimed the national championship unbeaten. So that still leaves, 25, where there was a regular season loss. And you could point at for all of this time since 1937 and say, this team lost a regular season game, but somehow still gets to call themselves a national champion. I have some more data here. This is just from when I was born in 1987 until we had the BCS in 1998. 4 teams claimed the national championship with a loss. Miami 89, Colorado 90, Florida State 93, Florida 96. 3 matchups of undefeated teams were missed. Miami, Washington, 91, Nebraska, Penn State, 94, Nebraska, Michigan in 1997. Still more of those happened in the BCS era. 16 years, both championship teams met undefeated only 6 times. And in 2007, during the BCS, LSU, remember, was crowned national champions with 2 losses in the regular season. So this with the Buckeyes isn't the first time we've seen this. The main point here is I think it's worse to have a season where multiple undefeated teams claim a national championship or don't even get a chance to play like Auburn in 2004 or these instances that I've met. I think that's worse than it is to have a team with multiple losses claim the national championship.
Yeah, and I mean, even looking at Florida State last year, with right. The 4 team who got left out because of an injury. Yeah, I do agree with that. Blaine, you see some people talking about not just the regular season excitement and, it adds to it doesn't. I think, you brought up the Ole Miss Florida example. Cohen, I'm looking at the Tennessee-Vandy game November 30th.
Yeah.
I mean, for Tennessee, that's massive. I mean, you weren't going to make a 4-team playoff. You weren't obviously going to make a 2-team national championship game only, but that game allowed you to win it. You can look at Indiana at the end of the year. Do you think that it added to the regular season excitement, or do you think it waters it down overall?
Man, I don't like really putting it in 2 categories, to be honest. I think there are things that need to be fixed with the playoff selection committee and how we do things, how we see things. But it just depends on how you look at it. Are you okay with, teams, especially high-profile teams, having more margin for error? You can now lose more than 1 game and be okay. Are you okay with the Michigan-Ohio State rivalry not meaning as much? Are you okay with that with the Iron Bowl? I mean, we talked about this last year, conference championship games. Felt like they really didn't matter that much, and that's what hurts the most to me. It's the rivalries and the conference championship games still meaning something in the regular season, because that was always the funnest games for me to watch. Iron Bowl, the game, conference championship games, they just don't feel like they matter as much anymore. But are you in the camp of, I like it more broad? It's a lot better for college football, I think, especially getting into the season, that more teams can fight and more teams and more eyes to the sport, especially later in the season, not just 4 teams. Now you have that 5 to 8 spots going at it. So I don't really look at it one way or another. I like the college football playoff. I don't think it's watering the regular season down that much, but I still want important games to matter, which all of them are important, but especially the rivalry games and especially the conference championship games.
Well, I think the rivalry games still matter as much. I mean, you look at Michigan, it's not the committee's fault that Michigan lost 5 games, but look at the way they finished the season. Michigan beats Ohio State. That was a huge catapult for them in recruiting, in momentum for Sherrone Moore after his first year. Then they go to the ReliaQuest Bowl and beat Bama. Now, if we're talking about just access to the postseason, I've watched Auburn beat Alabama and then lose to Georgia in the SEC Championship game, and Auburn not get in, but Alabama get in with a 4-team playoff and win the national championship. So we've had that, if that's a problem in your eyes. We've had that for a while, but I don't think it eliminates the importance of it. It doesn't lessen the rivalry. What I hear about in an argument that I disagree with is that, well, by giving Ohio State and these other teams more margin for error, or giving some of these bigger brands a chance to make the playoff, even if they have regular season losses and don't even play in the conference championship game, then somehow that totally means that a group of 5 team or a smaller brand can't win it. I think this helped both. I think it helped the big guys and the little guys. Boise State got a bye. You can't sit here and give me an argument that allowing more access for smaller brands somehow inhibits their chances of winning in a negative way because we're letting in more of the good teams and a few of the bad, and now the smaller teams have to win more games, when in reality, that's not what we got in year 1. Boise State had to win the minimum amount of games to be able to win a national championship. They had to win less than Ohio State did. They had to win less than Clemson did. They had to win less than some of these other teams did. So I don't buy into that argument either. I think a rising tide lifts all ships.
Again, if every national champion in college football up to this year was undefeated and there were no other undefeated teams, that's perfect. And now all of a sudden we changed it just so the sport can make more money or add more teams or create more revenue from a playoff. No, why'd you mess with it? It was perfect. Again, the data doesn't indicate that. We've had national champions before who lost games, and even worse, we had situations where 3 or 4 teams are undefeated and claim the natty. How can you have that?
No, yeah, I'm with you 100%. The two things that I want to make sure we make this point before we get to the chat here. The two things that need to be fixed. One is the calendar that we've talked about, and coaches have talked about that. And I'm not talking about just the transfer portal when I'm talking about when the games are played, whether that's moving the season up or whatever. And the second thing is the structure of the 12-team playoff, how we divvy out who gets the first 4 seeds and the bye. I don't think there should be a automatic bye for a conference champion. We saw, obviously what happened with Boise State, with Arizona State. I don't think those teams should have got a bye. But I like the overall premise of how it affected the regular season. But let's get to the chat.
All right, chat, hit that like, hit that subscribe button. If you donate, it's on topic. It will get read. Let's go to Drew P. What's up, Drew? I'm definitely not reading the last one. You tried to get me, but it didn't work. Because the playoff helped Ohio because Ohio State would have been in a 4-team, but they need to do a top 12 seeding, not having weak conference champions and a week 1 bye.
I agree with that, but I think you can have both where you reward a conference champion, where you say, all right, the top 4 conferences, not the top 5. Now, if the Pac-12 comes back, whatever becomes a Power 5, we can have that discussion. But you give the top 4 conference champions an automatic bid into the 12-team playoff. I'm fine with that. But you shouldn't automatically get a top 4 seed. And you would get some overlap. Like, for example, Oregon. Oregon won the Big Ten. They finished undefeated. They would have won the conference championship, which gave them an automatic bye. They were already in anyway, but they would get a number 1 seed because they finished 1 through 4. We should have been able to have multiple teams from conferences possibly get a bye if that's a situation for the Big Ten or for the SEC or the ACC or even the Big 12. So we need to tinker some things. We need to change some things. But overall, the essence of the regular season, I think, was enhanced.
We need to lose the phrase weak conference champions. Yeah, that's what we need to
I agree with that.
If conferences are so far inferior that the champion of their league is so weak, then they don't even need to be competing with the other teams in the first place.
Yeah, you shouldn't be viewed as a top 4
I mean, it's insane.
Let's go to loading. It says 8 teams max and let them play every weekend and no bye weeks.
I don't think we should take away the bye weeks. The bye weeks in a violent sport like football go a long way for everybody, and if they're divvied out evenly, I'm fine with it. I'm actually good with the 12. The reason I wanted 8 is because I knew they were going to expand, and I at least wanted to put a governor on the expansion so we don't go from 12 to 16 and then 16 to 20, blase.
All right, let's go to Mason. What's up, Mason? I think there should be only 8 teams. Will it be likely? No, but 8 teams eliminates all of the crap. The likelihood of a lower seed on the road is going to win is extremely low.
It does trim the fat. All right, go one more.
All right, let's go to Jessica. What's up, Jessica? BSU fan. Yes, regular season is meaningful, but if BSU had a second loss, our ranking would tank and probably drop down below 12. Could still get in as an NWC champ. There is a clear path and never had that before.
Well, I agree with if Boise State would have lost another game, they wouldn't have been in. Now, if we're going to sit here and talk about the Mountain West, or if it becomes the Pac-12, whatever's going on and however it finishes, will that finish as a top 4 conference? That's where I want to put the line. That's where I want to draw it, on only having the 4 top conferences, the conference champion, get that automatic bye in there. Remember, your donations will get read. Let's move on here because there are some big games this Sunday that we're going to be live streaming once again, a little taste of the NFL. And we'll get back to the chat and those donations here in a second.
Which is more likely, NFL edition? But before we get to the conference championships, we have a little bit of breaking news here, so I'm going to throw this in real time because the Detroit Lions have now lost both coordinators. We talked about Ben Johnson going on to become the Chicago Bears head coach, and now defensive coordinator Aaron Glenn has been named the head coach of the New York Jets, the same organization, mind you, that drafted him in the 1994 first round, 12th overall. So, which is more likely in 2025, this upcoming season? Aaron Glenn leads the New York Jets to the playoffs. Ben Johnson leads the Bears to a playoff win, or Dan Campbell leads the Lions to a Super Bowl victory after replacing both coordinators?
I think it's more likely that the Lions end up winning the Super Bowl just because the rebuild job that Aaron Glenn has at the Jets, and to be honest with you, he's not the most important Aaron that they have in that organization. It's going to be Aaron Rodgers. You got to see what happens with that and then who replaces him at quarterback. Kind of be interested to see what goes on with Sam Darnold, too, and the Vikings there. If they do move on from Aaron Rodgers, does he find himself playing for the Jets in New York? I said yesterday, I think there's a decent chance that the Bears can make the playoff next year. I didn't say win a playoff game, but I think Dan Campbell and the Lions, even after losing both coordinators, I think Dan Campbell's imprint on this organization, he is the fuel to the tank. He is the guy that sets the standard and sets the culture. They're going to be healthier on defense. They've got really, really good players. And I've always said at the end of the day, players win games while coaches watch and talk about it. But Dan Campbell, he set that culture. I think the Lions are going to come back with a vengeance.
Dan Campbell obviously is a culture guy. We know that, Blaine. But he's not a scheme guy. He's not out there calling the plays, right? So, again, which is more likely? Aaron Glenn leads the Jets to the playoffs this upcoming season. Ben Johnson leads the Bears to a playoff win, or Dan Campbell could win the Super Bowl after both of those guys leave.
Oh, God. I just wish there was another option.
There's not.
Yeah, I mean, I feel bad for this guy going to that absolute garbage organization right now for the Jets. I'll be surprised if he makes it more than 2 years there. Ben Johnson right now do not have the pieces to go win a playoff game, especially up front in the offensive line. Your defense is mediocre. I don't want to sit up here and agree with what Jake said, but I do think it's Dan Campbell in the Lions. So right now, your best talent is what? It is young talent. And you had a lot of people beat up on that defense this year who will be back next year. And, hey, it's kind of like your Michigan boys. Davey, you made it. You're favored. You lost. I mean, then you come back and win it all. I wouldn't be surprised with the talent that the Lions have with Jared Goff at quarterback if they came back and gave a Super Bowl run.
All right, I'm a little surprised by that answer, but it does make sense. Maybe I'll pick the Lions again next year. Didn't work out for that this year.
Or just be like me and pick the Chiefs.
Yeah, well, we'll get to that. Here we go. AFC Championship, Chiefs meeting up with the Bills. This is Patrick Mahomes versus Josh Allen. Now, in the first meeting they had in the regular season this year, the Bills won that game, 30-21. Let me double check the score. Yes, 30-21. And that was the only regular season game the Chiefs lost where Patrick Mahomes actually started. So, and in that game, Mahomes threw 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Josh Allen had 317 total yards. So here's what I want to know. Which is more likely, all right, that Mahomes has 3 touchdown passes or more in this playoff game coming up, or that Josh Allen has more than 317 total yards?
I'm going to go with Mahomes and the touchdown passes just because what the Chiefs do in the playoffs and who they become is different. Just look at what happened with Travis Kelce last game. They morph into the best version of themselves. I know this Chiefs team, and we've talked about it multiple times, has kind of, they're a chameleon that they can change their shape, change their color depending on how the game's going. And they are more of a defensive team. But I just feel like with the Bills, you look at this defense, I brought up yesterday the numbers, 11th overall in the league in total points given up per game. But I just think the Chiefs, if we're going to pick between Josh Allen going off or Patrick Mahomes going off, the Chiefs being at home and being better in the wide receiver room overall than they were last year, I think kind of promotes the probability of Patrick Mahomes. Even if the Chiefs scored 27 points, I would not be shocked if 3 of their touchdowns were passing touchdowns. You see what they can do with Xavier Worthy when they get into the red zone. It basically turns into a long handoff with him, even the shovel passes and things like that. So not that the Bills won't have a good day on offense, but I think it's more likely that Patrick Mahomes gets those 3 TD.
Mahomes, 3 touchdowns or more. Josh Allen, 317 total yards.
Give me Josh Allen with the 317 total yards. I mean, Josh Allen is the Bills. Josh Allen, if they're going to beat the Chiefs, Josh Allen has to beat the Chiefs. That's not only through the air, but that is him running the football, not only on scramble plays, not only when it breaks down, but design quarterback runs. He has to be the guy. And Mahomes 3+ passing touchdowns, I wouldn't be surprised to get in there and see Kareem Hunt score a couple of touchdowns. But Josh Allen, if there's going to be somebody who has to do it, who has to put the city on his shoulders, it is him. 317 plus? I could see that.
All right, so in the divisional matchup against the Ravens, Josh Allen did rush for 2 touchdowns. Travis Kelce had 7 receptions for 117 yards and a TD in their matchup against the Texans. So which is more likely? Josh has 2 or more rushing touchdowns against the Chiefs this weekend, or Travis Kelce outperforms his yardage stat line more than 117 receiving yards?
I'm going to go Josh Allen with the rushing touchdowns, just because, again, to Blaine's point, he kind of is their flaming sword, and I mean that in the best way possible. But when they get in the red zone, I don't think the Bills, when you look at this Chiefs defense and how good they're playing, how much more healthy they are now in the secondary, they're going to have to use Josh Allen's legs, to Blaine's point again, not only to improvise, but in the quarterback design run. What I'm really interested to see is how it plays with James Cook. when they get in the red zone. Because the Bills, I think, will be able to move the ball in between the 20s. But when the field shrinks, coordinators get paid to score those touchdowns in the red zone. If it's me, I'm putting the ball in Josh Allen's hands most of the time. And if James Cook is having success early, that is only going to open up more things, whether it's on power read, whether it's throwing that little fake swing pass that they do, and Josh Allen runs counter, power, whatever out of it. I think they're going to put it in his hands more. And there's no way in hell that if you're the Bills and you're watching that game against the Texans, you're going to be like, let's cover Travis Kelce like that. I don't care if you got to put 6 guys on him. I don't care if you got to follow him up to the bathroom and hand him the toilet paper when he gets done, taking a number 2 or a grumpy, as Blaine calls it. There's no way you let Travis Kelce do that. Somebody else beat me. Please, God, somebody else beat me. Let old DeAndre Hopkins beat me. Let Xavier Worthy beat me. Let a couple of those exciting whites they got, like Noah Gray and Justin Watson, beat me. Just please, God, not Travis Kelce.
2 rush TDs for Josh or more than 117 yards for Travis Kelce?
2 rush TDs for Josh. I mean, look, I agree with Jake. Like, if you're the Bills, you have to stop one guy. And that's the guy who goes on there and does Pfizer commercials.
You could have just stopped with you agree.
It's Travis Kelce, who's also an exciting white. And if Josh Allen, if I'm the Bills and I'm anywhere from the 10-yard line in, my first couple plays are going to be Josh Allen. I would treat Josh Allen like Notre Dame treated Riley Leonard. It's all or nothing, buddy.
Yeah.
Either you're going to win or you're going to die on the field.
Yeah, well, if they do like they did in the first drive in the national championship game, Josh Allen, I don't care how big he is, he may not be alive by halfway through the second quarter because Chris Jones ain't little.
Looks like the line hasn't moved either. Still -2. -2 Chiefs.
Over 47.5.
Yeah, that's
high.
Is that high?
That feels high to me.
That's a lot.
That feels
That's
high.
Removing that rock a little bit in that game. Now, hi, Joe Mixon 6.
Like, that means y'all think the Bills are going to score. That's what it tells me. I don't know.
Let's move on to the NFC Championship. Again, this is Washington and Philly. Jayden Daniels has 2 straight playoff games, his only 2 playoff games, both of them over 2 pass TDs. Well, he has 2 touchdown passes in each of them and over 250 passing yards. Saquon Barkley, for his part, Eagles running back, 2 straight games with over 115 rushing yards. So which is more likely? Jayden Daniels, 2 passing touchdowns and over 250 yards to stay on pace with what he's been doing, or Saquon with over 115 rushing yards?
I've got to go with Saquon over 115 rushing yards. It's just how many with Jalen Hurts. And the reason I think he could hit that number and the Eagles still lose is because of Jalen Hurts' health right now. You look at the knee, you look at how beat up he is. How much volume is Saquon going to get? There's a big difference between getting 115 rushing yards on like 15 carries or 115 rushing yards on 25 to 30 carries. So how much are they going to lean on Saquon in the run game from a volume standpoint and let that defense go eat? When you look at Jayden Daniels, you're going up against probably the best defense in the league, man, especially on that defensive line. And if there's one way to neutralize his legs, it's with the freak shows that the Eagles got running around in that front 7, despite some of the injuries. The last time Jayden Daniels ran into Jalen Carter, it didn't work out too good in the SEC Championship. So he knows the kryptonite to Jayden Daniels a little bit. He lifted him up like they did on The Lion King and showed him to everybody else. So when I look at it, I think the volume of carries that Saquon's going to get, he's been their shining light. It's that and A.J. Brown reading books on the sidelines, because I don't know if Jalen Hurts is healthy enough to run around and do his thing or throw him to a win. Give me Saquon to get over 115 rushing yards in this game, Cone, but Washington with the dub.
What's more likely for you?
What was the Jayden Daniels stat again?
Over 250 passing yards and 2 touchdowns.
Give me Jayden Daniels.
Do it, son.
Give me Jayden Daniels.
Make that face at him, dog.
The LSU great. Talking about, just the thing about it, if I'm the Commanders, what's the game plan walking into this game? How many people can I put in the box against the Eagles? Look, at the end of the day, you're not beating me with that freak in the backfield. All right? I'm not getting reverse hurdled by anybody. It's not going to happen. All right? You're going to have to beat me with Jalen Hurts, who's a little bit banged up and has not looked great the last couple of weeks. But I'm telling you, this guy right here, Jayden Daniels, can do it against anybody. I think he could do it against anybody. As good as the Eagles are up front, and they are extremely talented, one of the best in the NFL, JD's seen these boys before. He knows how to get away from them. Not only do you have to get to JD, but you have to get him down. And I don't think they're going to be able to do that for 4 quarters. I think JD will have a great game, but I do think the Eagles pull it out at the end of the day.
All right, let's talk about these defenses quickly. Washington had 5 turnovers against the Lions.
Had to have it.
The Eagles had 5 sacks in their game against the Rams. So what's more likely? Washington forces a turnover against Jalen Hurts and the Eagles, or the Eagles sack Jayden Daniels multiple times. 1 or more turnovers for Washington, multiple sacks against Jayden Daniels.
I would say probably multiple sacks against Jayden Daniels. That's probably where I would go. Because, again, I think the Eagles are going to play small ball. I don't know how much they're going to put the ball in harm's way. We've talked about it. That's the way they play. They kind of play it in a phone booth, especially right now. When you talk about the weather or whatever, that's going to obviously dictate some things. But this is the best defensive line that Jayden Daniels is going to see. We can talk about the Chiefs. I like Karlaftis. Obviously, Chris Jones is a monster. But when you look in aggregate with what the Eagles can do up front, I think they're athletic enough and deep enough to be able to not only get to Jayden, but get him on the ground. My question is, will Jayden Daniels be okay with throwing the ball away the way that he's been in the past, which is the smart play? That's one of the things that separates Jayden Daniels. But I think the Eagles get to him a couple times. They just overwhelm offensive lines. And I know Washington's kind of punching above their weight in that category. But with the way the Eagles are going to play in this game, play it close to the vest, don't risk turning it over too much, I think they get to Jayden Daniels.
We think Washington gets a turnover or the Eagles sack Jayden Daniels multiple times?
Well, you can't sack what you can't see. All right, and every time you get near Jayden Daniels, he just magically disappears.
It's like Nightcrawler
like
from
a
X-Men.
David Blaine trick. He's in front of you one time, next thing he's on top of the Empire State Building. I don't even know how that happened. I do think Jalen Hurts has got an interception in him.
Yeah.
Maybe two.
At least one?
Maybe, at least one for sure. Maybe an interception and a fumble. We'll see the weather. But I look at that face right there. You know what that tells me? Pick.
Yeah. Does it? What about his face?
Oh, look at that. Y'all hear that? Y'all hear that? Pick.
Yeah. Wow. Or Saquon saying, watch this, don't change the play.
Yeah. Can you imagine trying to tell? This is what I'll never understand. And we had this conversation during the national championship game. If you are rushing Jayden Daniels, one, you can't rush past him.
Mm-hmm.
All right, you have to be a fundamental rusher. If you get to him and he looks like he doesn't see you, buddy, I promise he sees you, and he is baiting to just put a little quick move on you until somebody figures that out. I just don't think you can sack Jayden.
And it's so tough because he's not as wide as like Josh Allen or some of these others. There's a lot less. We saw him at SEC Media Days. I know he's gained some weight. There ain't a lot of surface area there. Like, you've got a kind of a smaller target to hit. I'm not saying he's a dwarf or anything, but like there's a small surface area where Jayden, how many times have you seen him just slip a guy? And the guy just goes right past him. Sometimes that thinness can help you out. But I'm with Blaine. He sees you. He's like Santa Claus. He sees you when you're sleeping. He knows when you're awake.
Good feel in the pocket. That makes a great quarterback.
Definitely.
All right, nice job, boys.
Yeah, all right, let's get to the chat.
All right, first let's get to this poll. Which is more likely, Mahomes 3 passing touchdowns? I like this one. Or Josh Allen more than 317 yards? The poll came in 67% on Josh Allen. Have more than 307.
He's gonna have to.
Let's go to a $5 donation from Barkley. Appreciate it, Bark. Says, hey guys, Commanders fan here. What are we going to have to do to beat the Eagles? They're the better team, but I think we have the best player.
Well, we did a full preview on the game too. Make sure you check that out. You kind of went through it all, but just a quick summation. To me, Washington doesn't have to change what they're doing. Mm-hmm. You're not turning the ball over. You're executing at a high level. Your young quarterback is making the right decisions, and you're being opportunistic defensively. If Jalen Hurts does give you a chance to take the ball away, you've got to take it away. Dropped interceptions in this game can kill you. And not just getting the ball, go score with the ball. Now, we know the difference between a city fumble and a country fumble. A city fumble is when it's all crowded and you just jump on it to get it. A country fumble is there's nobody around you. Go pick that bad boy up and go score. But you have to be opportunistic defensively and on special teams. You got to make your jump shots, your field goals when you get a chance to. I just think this is going to be a low-scoring game, and somebody's going to lose it rather than win it.
To me, it's not good enough just to say, well, crowd the box and try and stop Saquon. I get that, but Jalen Hurts can pull that and run the RPO game with A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith so well.
Yeah.
I'm ready for that to break.
Well, I wonder what the weather forecast is for Sunday, because if it's windy and nasty and cold, I think that does dictate the numbers.
Right now, it is a 39-degree at game time, and it's just going to be sunny with some clouds.
Does it say anything about wind? Because wind is the worst thing. Forget the snow, forget the rain. It's wind.
It's cloudy, no wind.
So if it's no
6
wind,
miles per hour.
Okay, you can live with that one. You would take that 100,000% of the time if you're the OC.
Let's go to $5 donations from the Potter. Appreciate it, man.
Harry?
Says, yeah, I guess. Texans outgain the Chiefs and still find a way to lose that game. If you're the Bills, you're going to have to outgain these guys by at least 200 yards to secure the W.
Yeah, you've got to kill them. Like, you can't do like Dr. Evil and Austin Powers and just put Austin in that pit and shut the door and assume that the sharks ate him. That's not the way it works. You got to kill them, and you got to watch them die. You got to watch the color leave them. You got to check their pulse, and you put them 6 feet underground. Do not give them a chance, because if you give them any sort of chance, just a little one, just a tiny one, you're going to lose. You get a chance to kill them, you kill them. No prisoners at all. All right, let's move on.
All right, let's go to Punt or Go. This is our debate segment. Each guy gets 60 seconds uninterrupted to affirm the statements we make by going for the prompt, or they can reject it by punting. Let's start with Dan Hurley. The UConn Huskies are back-to-back national champions in men's basketball, and Dan Hurley he lost it last night. Do we have the video? Can we bring this video up of head coach Dan Hurley screaming at the referee?
Yeah, here we go. Play it. See him. And literally he's quoted as saying, "Don't turn your back on me. I'm the best effing coach in college basketball."
Hold on, here it is.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah.
Right.
Well, do we have the press conference where they asked him about it? This is wild. All right, play this.
Look at him.
I think TV got you saying something like, "Don't turn your back on me. I'm the best coach in."
Did I say that? No.
You know you said that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I know we you know, I'm going to sound like an asshole here. So, the TV likes me, camera. I bet you I'm going to have the GAs. I'll release it to the media too. What was the game on today? It was on FS1. I just wish they'd put the camera on the other coach more. You know, obviously.
All right. I won't make it as easy as saying Dan Hurley is the best coach in the sport, but what I'll say is Dan Hurley is hurting his own team with behavior like this. Punt or go?
Punt. No, this is who he is. He's back-to-back national champion winner. I didn't see people up here complaining about Nick Saban when he was ripping refs' throats out and showing it to them. This is who you are. One of the reasons he has reached this pinnacle of success is because he is truly and genuinely him. I think that's the difference between why he's actually more likable than Ryan Day in some spaces, and he's also won back-to-back national championships. So no, first off, the refs always get a pass. I'm glad somebody's getting after him a little bit. But Dan Hurley, do not change your stripes. What excites a team more? Coaches sometimes get technical fouls just to fire their team up and fire the home fans up. The best part about Major League Baseball is when the manager gets thrown out when he's cussing out the umpire. This is who you are. Embrace who you are. Dan Hurley, do not change. At the end of the day, it's working. Now, if it stops working, you can evolve. But Dan Hurley, don't change. Keep getting after him. Keep working him because it's you and it's working. Shout out Stores, Connecticut.
Don't turn your back on me. I'm the best effing coach in the sport. Dan Hurley is hurting his own team. Punt or go, Blaine?
I'm going on this. I mean, you can be a back-to-back national championship coach and not be a douche. Right? I think those two things can be true. This is just douche behavior to me. This is big-timing somebody behavior. We know who you are. You're leading a program, man. Can we have a little bit of a class at the end of it? And look, I like Dan Hurley as a coach, but this is unacceptable to me. And if he keeps acting like this, all right, it's almost cost him, really. Go back to that Maui game where he got teed up late and it cost him that game. You can't do stuff. When you do it as a coach, there's certain moments you have to be able to do it. And talking about getting a technical foul. But Dan Hurley, at any time, will just pop off. You want to talk about bipolar, will pop off on the sidelines. There could be 10 seconds left. They're up by 1, and I wouldn't be surprised to see Dan Hurley say something like that and get teed up at the end and lose the game and then come on here. Well, I won back-to-back national championships. I'm the best coach ever. Blase this, blase that. It's just douche behavior to me.
I guess the ego inflates a bit when you're back-to-back national champion and you turn down the Lakers.
Saban would do it on the field.
Yeah, like what am I going to tell him? Stop being yourself? Goodness gracious, the closest thing to John Wooden we've had since John Wooden.
If refs are people, too.
Yeah,
what if he turned around and said, hey, you shut your mouth because I'm the best ref in this sport?
Yeah.
You know what? Respect. Okay. I bet Dan Hurley would be like, okay, respect. Unless it's Pat Adams. Who's the worst. All right. Well, at least Dan Hurley can spell. This next thing, the mayor of Philadelphia cannot spell eagle. I'm going to play this clip. This is really what happened because we know the Eagles chant. All right. This is the mayor of the city of Philadelphia. The elected mayor cannot spell the city's mascot. Go ahead and play it.
Let me hear you all say E-L-G-L-E-S, Eagles!
No.
Let's go, Birds.
Eyeglasses.
Let me hear you all say.
I want everybody to hear it again.
E-L-G.
That's an L.
E-S. Eagles.
Okay. Just pause it right there.
Let's go, Birds.
You know what? Deep down, I can understand if maybe you mix the L and the G. How in God's name do you go E-L? This isn't Spanish. So my statement to you guys is, if you can't spell the name of the mascot of your city's NFL team, you should be disqualified from being mayor. Punt or go?
I'm going to punt.
What?
I'm going to punt that. Because, look, spelling's not easy. All right? It's not easy. And a lot of people who are extremely smart love to throw it in your face. All right? Love to throw it in your face. How is there not a K in stomach? How is there not a K? Explain that to me. Stomach. It's an H. I'm not worried about the mayor. I'm more worried about the people who voted her in. All right? Is the entire place of Philadelphia just below IQ'd individuals? I don't know. But spelling's not easy, guys, and you shouldn't make fun of people who can't spell. All right? It's not, David. It's not. You can look at me.
Well, as somebody who reads the chat on the show, I can actually understand why you would take that side. David Cohn. I bet I know the answer to this one, but I'm going to ask it anyway. If you can't spell the name of your city's NFL team's mascot, you should be disqualified from being mayor. Let's go Elges.
Coach,
Go.
Keep the offense on the field. We're going for this. You can't be the mayor of Philadelphia if you can't spell Eagles. We're not talking about hope you like it where I come from. This is Philadelphia, for God's sakes. You cannot be the mayor. You know what makes it worse? It's not like you just misspelled Eagles. It's the chant. You have like a melody that goes along with it to help you out.
Like
have you not been to a game? Now, am I the world's best speller? No. I probably need to borrow that book. Honestly, I lost a spelling bee spelling obvious one time, which is the second worst.
That is so ironic.
That's the second worst loss in the spelling bee history after Dwight Schrute misspelled failure. Okay,
Yeah,
I don't know why obvious needs a B in it, but that's a story for another day. You can't be the mayor of Philadelphia if you can't spell Eagles, and I'll stand on that. Standing on business.
Blaine, the one part of your statement I agreed with was, why does stomach not have a K?
It doesn't make sense.
I can't defend that.
The English language doesn't make sense and how you spell certain words.
Dude, you're the mayor.
But that's how you spell it, so.
I mean, good. That's so bad.
All right. Poor lady. I really don't feel bad. Third point to go here, fellas. Get ready. I want your best answer. You better be locked and ready to go. All right? I don't know if you've heard, but Liam Cohen and Ben Johnson turned down the Jacksonville job. And my question to you, and Coney, we'll start with you. The Jacksonville Jaguars is the worst job in the NFL.
Well, I don't know about the Jaguars, but I'll punt on the Jaguars. The worst job.
Here we go.
I can't.
Strike two.
I can't, in good conscience, sit here in this chair and say the Jacksonville Jaguars is the worst job in the NFL when I know that the Cleveland Browns still exist, okay? Or even the New York Jets, and God bless my father-in-law, Richard Todd. No shots fired at the Jets. I'm just saying, it's hard to say the Jaguars are the worst job in the NFL. Has it been bad lately? Yes. The experiment with Urban Meyer didn't work out, but at least in my lifetime, I've seen them win some playoff games. And I still have Mark Brunell images in my head, the lefty throwing the football. So I'm going to punt on that. The Jaguars are not the worst coaching job in the NFL, and they'll be back with Trevor Lawrence.
Jake, the Jacksonville Jaguars, like that, Cone, is the worst job in the NFL. Punter, go. They do have a pool at their stadium.
Yeah, go. And this, if you're going to call something the worst, it needs to hit every element. So let's start out with on the field. Because I will say, give them a little bit of credit. 2023, you went 9-8. 2022, you went 9-8. That's the best part. Okay, that's the good. I started with the good. Going into 2022, since Shahid Khan took over as the owner, all right, they have lost the most games in the NFL. They have lost the most games by double digits in the NFL, and they had scored the fewest points in the NFL. Basically, it's the worst watch in the NFL. But, guys, that's not the worst part. We all know the Jags have been an absolute disaster most years on the field. In June of 2024, Forbes advisor ranked Jacksonville the worst city in the United States to visit for summer travel.
That's
the worst city to visit. I've been to Jacksonville. Good people. The food's not that bad. Not a great place. Not a great place. I mean, when you're in Florida and you get ranked the worst city for summer travel, that's a tough one, because I've been to Kansas before. So at the end of the day, Jacksonville just all around, it sucks.
All right.
I hate it.
That's
I hate
disrespectful.
It for him. It's the truth.
Don't
get mad at me. Get mad at the Forbes advisors. David.
First of all, you should never trust anything you read or hear from Forbes. As someone from South Georgia, which is near North Florida, I take that as disrespect. I might not be able to spell that good, but I know geography.
Yeah,
okay?
maybe it's something you should learn to
the worst
stomach.
city. Also, when I think about worst jobs, I think the quarterback has a lot to do with it, and I think you can do a lot worse than Trevor Lawrence. Has he lived up to expectations so far? No. He needs to get the right coach in there. I think a great offensive mind, I don't know why Liam Cohen turned down this job. I don't know all the details, but the right offensive mind to take that job can get the most out of Trevor Lawrence.
Pretty simple to me. You turned down going to Jacksonville to be the head coach to stay in Tampa as a coordinator.
Not a good look.
That's all.
That's all
I need to hear, bud. Ben Johnson said, you know what? Let me go to the Bears. Let me go to Chicago, which right now, the hardest thing in trying to win football games, it's dodging bullets on the way to work. So you know it's bad when you choose Chicago over Jacksonville, where the weather is a whole lot better. But you're right. They do have a pool in Trevor Lawrence.
Y'all stop talking about my team like that.
Oh, yeah, I forgot.
Oh, that's right.
I always forget.
Hooray!
I always forget. What does the chat think about that?
Trust me, the chat loves making fun of Jacksonville. I mean, they're all making fun of me right now, like AJ says, right? Even Blaine can spell Eagles, and he's borderline illiterate.
He's got verbal dyslexia,
Yeah.
I think is the right prognosis.
Let's go to a $5 donation, actually, from the Jags fan. He says, hey, guys, stop it. I'm going through enough right now. I don't need y'all crapping on my team for an entire segment.
Look, it's just, look, it's tough love. All right, it's tough love. But I'm rooting for you. I don't personally hate the Jags. Obviously, the people over at Forbes Advisor do. I've recruited Jacksonville. Signed a pretty good offensive lineman out of there, too. But, I mean, where would you rather go? Where would you rather go right now? Would you rather just wait and say, I'll be either a head coach in waiting in Tampa or get another job and say no to the Jags, or what?
I'd like to go to Jacksonville. I'd like to go coach Trevor Lawrence if I was an offensive mind. Hold on, I'm looking this up real quick. I'm just looking up Forbes Media headquarters here. Looks like it's in New Jersey. Yeah, imagine. A New Jersey-based company is just going to crap on Jacksonville and all over the South.
They've probably never even been to Jacksonville.
Never even been there once.
Chili's?
You know what? They read a rating on the local Chili's.
Yeah.
Top tier.
You know it's bad when your claim to fame is we got a great Chili's.
What? What was that?
Blaine loves Chili's. We need to get a Chili's sponsorship.
The 3-for-1?
Yeah.
You don't even know. Let's get a $5 donation from SB. Appreciate it, man. Says, after the stream, I've learned that Blaine can't play tennis and obviously can't read. You got it rough enough, bud, and you're an Auburn fan. That's 3 strikes and you're out.
It's tough. That team purse.
Why is the tennis game catching strays for you?
It is.
But that backhand was nice. I don't care what any.
You got some credit from some tennis aficionados.
I did. Let's go to Robbie7. What's up, Robbie? Says, hey, guys, love the show. I actually live in Jacksonville, and to be honest with you, it's not that bad. I know we're not great as an NFL team, but I enjoy the stadium when I go.
You know what? This is a great excuse. We need to talk to Jeremy and them at the top. We need a trip to Jacksonville. We need to judge it ourselves. I want to test out the Chili's in Jacksonville. Okay? We'll see it. Let's go check it out. And then we'll grade it ourselves.
Don't we have a standing invitation to come down there from Ron DeSantis to play golf with him?
Yeah. He wants to play TPC. We got to do that.
Let's go to the Biz. What's up? It says Jacksonville, Florida is an absolute S-hole. Not the worst, but an unavoidable Florida city I would never want to go to ever.
That bad?
Dude, Jacksonville's going to be catching some strays for a while in here. For a while. But you know what? Our good folks that listen and watch in Jacksonville, we love you. All right, we're going to come down there and spice things up. Speaking about spicing things up, we all know you're not sticking to your New Year's resolution. Okay, stop lying to me. Yeah. All right, 90% of y'all are lying.
You've gained weight.
Yeah, this last week and a half, look at you. Speaking of Chili's, but let's say you want to get back to feeling good, but you don't want a personal trainer. They're too expensive, and you want a personalized workout though. Well, you need to check out Fitbod. All right, what is Fitbod? Well, it's how we lost weight for lady ballers and how we got so jacked and tan. It is a personalized workout plan. It doesn't matter if you go to the gym, if you have a setup in your house, if you've got a couple medicine balls and a pencil sharpener, they're going to figure out a way to get you in shape. Also, you can get 25% off your subscription or try the app free when you go to fitbod.me/booster. It's fitbod.me/booster. You open the Fitbod app in seconds. It builds you a perfect 45-minute workout for the next time you hit the gym, whether that's at home or going somewhere else, and it adapts as you go. right? It doesn't lead to burnout. It's not going to be arms day every day, regardless of how many times you want it to be. All right. And like I said, get 25% off your subscription or try the app free for 7 days. That's a full week in the calendar the way we do it now at fitbod.me/booster. That's fitbod.me/booster. Get back on that New Year's resolution train because we all know you lied. But what is not a lie is that in 5 minutes, the phone lines are going to open, and we better hear from somebody in Jacksonville. But right now, we're going to hear from David Cone because it's a lot of people's favorite segment. Hey, huddle up. Let's break down a play. DC, show them what you got cooking in the kitchen.
All right, huddle up, Buckeyes fans. Let's get an 11 personnel and go gun. Liz off weak. Bob left. All go Z basic. This was the huge 56-yard catch by Jeremiah Smith to seal the national championship for the Buckeyes against Notre Dame. Let's break it down. First off, it's 3rd and 11 here. 2 minutes and 45 seconds remaining in the game. Buckeyes up 31-23. Notre Dame just scored a touchdown to get it to one possession. Indy has one timeout plus the 2-minute timeout. Buckeyes come out in 11 personnel here on 3rd down. That's one running back, one tight end, and both of them are going to stay into block. So they have a 7-man max pass protection, which we're going to call Bob left here. They're able to pick up any pressures that come. Now, I said before the snap, try and get the football to your best player, Jeremiah Smith, especially if you get a favorable matchup. And that's exactly what happened. Yes, it's a risky call to throw it here, but it's the right call because even if you run it and force Notre Dame to call that final timeout, they'll still get the football back with 2.5 minutes left and the 2-minute timeout. Now, Notre Dame, they make a risky call on their part. Cover 0, 7-man pressure. And they had done such a good job all night of keeping the big plays in front of them. You'd like to see that here with maybe a bracket or a double team on Jeremiah Smith on 3rd and 11. But at least the Notre Dame Fighting Irish went out with what brought him here. Man coverage and aggressive linebacker play. The blitz is picked up beautifully by the Buckeyes. Will Howard, great throw to Jeremiah Smith. And I want you to watch this route right here from Jeremiah Smith. It's a go route. So you may say, hey, just stay as far away from the corner as possible and run by him. But that's not what Jeremiah Smith does. He's getting free release here and he's getting inside leverage from the corner and he runs right at him to get that corner on his heels because now he can go any direction. Then he breaks off the fade route. Not only does that help you get more open, but it allows more room to the sideline for the quarterback to drop the football in. Again, not just a great athlete out there, high IQ route runner. That's Jeremiah Smith. Hats off to him and this entire Buckeyes team for the incredible postseason run. Your national champs. This was 11 personnel. Gun, Liz off weak, Bob left, all go Z basic.
Great job, Cone. I had, and look, I know hindsight's 2020, but I had so many problems with what Al Golden called here. Just to compartmentalize it. And I'm glad you contextualized how much time was left in the game, 2 minutes, 45 seconds, Notre Dame having a timeout, and then the 2-minute timeout, which is a 2-minute warning. It's so unbelievably lame that we can't call it that, but whatever. If you're going to go 0, all right, and if you watch, you know what Notre Dame really ran? They ran what they scored against, what Georgia ran when they scored against them on that RPO, where it kind of looks like man free with the guy that's high in the sky, but you walk him down and he tries to rob that middle, which is what he did.
Yeah.
If you're going to go 0, bro. Bring them all. Bring them all, and don't bring them from depth. Screw a guy in the high in the sky safety. Bring him too. Bring the nickel. Bring everybody and just go true 0 coverage. Because if you walk them up and you do that, when Jeremiah Smith is stemming that corner, ball's got to be out now. Because they picked up the pressure. And if you watch the one guy blitzing for Notre Dame, really isn't even blitzing. He's just inserting late and provides no pressure, which makes Ohio State be able to collect everybody. So you not only did you try and, quote unquote, bring the house, you did it in the stupidest way possible. Because at least you can get to the quarterback before Jeremiah Smith cooks that poor DB that had to cover him in 0 coverage. But to me, it's 3rd and 11. Mm-hmm. It's a 1-score game. Why are we not playing too high?
Yeah.
Why are we not, even though you run a lot of man coverage, you run some zone. Hell, you ran it in the first half. Just run quarters. Just run a simple quarters. Or if you're going to run 2-man and stunt the front, right, and they kept the back end, you still would have been okay against the run. I understand the thinking of let's bring pressure. Screw it. We're going to guess that they're going to run it to run the clock. Let's bring pressure. But if you're going to pull the trigger, Al, and you're a genius, that's why you're about to be the Bengals defensive coordinator. To me, outside of deciding to kick the field goal, this was the worst coaching mistake that Notre Dame made. And you got Marcus Freeman, who's a defensive guy, with Al Golden, who's a defensive savant. You tried to play both sides of it, and you can't do that. I would have rather you just played quarters, just ran an over front or an under front and just played quarters coverage. Because who are they going to throw it to? Especially when they see he's manned up. You don't have to be Sherlock Holmes to figure out Jeremiah Smith was getting that ball. So I thought that was an egregious call defensively in that situation.
So with the safety coming down that low, you still consider that cover 0, not cover 1, right?
I could tell you he was going to come down and rob that because they passed off the guy in the slot.
Yeah.
If you look, it was basically what they said. They were matching coverage on the guy in the slot, which is insane to me.
Do that on.
Because if we're going to bracket somebody, how about you bracket that thing they got on the outside that's 11 years old and could be a first-round draft pick? I don't know. The guy who's cooked everybody. It was almost like an overthinking. You know, everybody makes fun of what Steve Sarkisian does at the 1-yard line, sometimes overthinking things. That's the exact same version of that, but defensively. It's the exact same thing.
In all fairness, Mbuka won 2, like right off the line of scrimmage. So if they had bracketed someone else, to your point, 2-man, I think maybe could have prevented that. But you're wide receiver. What do you think about that route right there from Jeremiah Smith?
Well, it's a beautiful route. And a lot of people think, well, the DB's lined up inside me. I have a go route. Why not just free release and take it as far as I can? What they call it when you get into the square of a guy, it's called midlining a guy, right?
Two-way go.
Yeah, once you square his body, your entire bag's open from a route standpoint, and he doesn't know what you're going to do. You go outside, you can go inside, but if you just free release outside, now you can only run a certain amount of routes, and the DB can kind of take off a checklist in his head. Well, he's out here, so he can only do this, 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 and this. But when you midline and you stem off the beginning, it gives you every single option of every route you have in your bag. So even Jeremiah Smith being a freshman, a young guy, that's almost a veteran experience play from a young guy in the biggest moment.
And if you're a DB, you are taught, do not let him get in your middle.
Yep.
It's kind of like in basketball when they say, hey, make him drive right, so play him inside on his left side. Make him drive left, play him inside on his right side. But the difference in basketball, you can draw a charge. If you get caught down the middle of somebody, you can stop, set your feet. If you do it enough time, you can actually cause a turnover. You can't do that in college football. But that DB was actually trying to combat that stem by staying inside leverage. Because even if they called that man free, the corners have to stay inside leverage on man free. Not the down safety on one side and the nickel on the other. Because if it's 2x2, you're trying to play outside leverage on the inside to funnel those two inside guys where? To the one guy that's in the sky. Well, on the outside, you don't have enough time or room to do that. You're going to get cooked on a post if you get cooked on a post. So you got to stay inside leverage. So that just put the DB in such a bad spot.
Like, the thing about me, if you're going to bring pressure, which Notre Dame did in that play, why wouldn't you just run press coverage?
Why wouldn't you just press them? Or press bail.
Right.
Or press bail.
It takes more time. And Jeremiah Smith's a bigger guy. I mean, he's shifty for his size, obviously, but he's not a little scat receiver.
You set him up for failure.
Yeah,
you set him up for
failure. First
failure.
of all, you lined him inside, you put him at 6-7 yards, you gave him nothing over the top, and you just tell him to run with Jeremiah Smith. That'll never work. Go try to run with a horse.
It's like saying play off LeBron and just let him drive at you. Good luck. We'll see how that works out. All right, the phone lines are now open, 1-855-236-3228. Guys, before we get there, I want to get to some of these reactions, Coney. What do we got?
This is from Alex Dunlap, NFL, on X. He asked Groke to create actors playing SEC coaches in a movie. Do we have those? Please put them up here so we can decide which of these would make the best actor in a movie for these coaches.
Okay, so Shane Gillis is Josh Heupel. That's a win. I buy that. What, you don't buy that? I can see it.
I like Shane Gillis a lot, but he called me honky on Joe Rogan. So
he did.
He's on.
Yeah, we got to get him on the show. He's got to answer.
We got to figure that out.
Yeah.
Because I feel like there shouldn't be beef there.
No.
Yeah, I don't want there to be beef there, but it did bring me blossoming joy to watch Notre Dame lose in the national championship.
Yeah. Next one.
Ooh, is that Timberlake?
Justin Timberlake.
That's Timberlake. That's a fit. That's a fit.
That's a fit.
That's a fit.
I don't think it's that big of a stretch, especially in that light. Now, if he was up there with NSYNC with the frosted tips, I don't think Lane's going to go that far. He's got daughters now. I get it. Okay, I buy it. So they're 2 for 2.
Yeah.
I'll give Gronk 2 for 2.
That's thumbs up.
Okay, what do we got next?
Thumbs up. That's Gyllenhaal.
Jake Gyllenhaal?
That doesn't look like Jake Gyllenhaal,
Steve
really,
Sarkisian?
though. Like,
They did something with the head.
They did something with the
head
nose. He's kind of got that. He doesn't have a Sesame Street nose
But
like that.
that's a thumbs up to me.
Yeah.
That's a thumbs up to me.
I could see
that
it.
could pass.
I could see
that
it.
could pass.
All right,
I'd want to see the trailer at least.
I would
For
too.
sure. For
three
sure.
for
I agree
three.
with that.
Starts out, he's just drunk.
Is that Jonah?
Or Jeff
Pass.
Lebby.
That's not even close. Jeff
like
ain't
it.
that
Jonah
fat.
Hill.
I like it.
Jeff isn't that fat.
Okay, hold on.
Jonah's an actor.
Is it accurate, or you would just want to go see it because it's Jonah Hill and it might be funny? Or is it like an accurate
Well, the thing about it is, like,
portrayal?
what weight is Jonah coming in at?
That he has mixed
He's
it
an
up.
actor.
is
He
true.
can mix it up.
He's still got that, like on 21 Jump Street, he still looked fat as the skinny guy. Didn't he?
Yeah, but I would say
You see
Mike
it?
looks fat as a skinny guy.
Who?
Mike Elko.
No, Jeff Lebby.
Jeff
Jeff
Lebby.
Lebby, excuse me.
Yeah, figured out.
Even better, yeah. How's that not?
I don't know.
How is that not a win?
I
The
think
colors
you
threw me
could
off.
find a better comparison.
Okay,
to Jeff.
yeah, I agree.
Who?
Next one.
You got to give me time to think about it. I'm not AI. Dude,
This is
come on.
Adam Sandler as Hugh
No,
Freeze.
not even close.
Adam Sandler as Hugh Freeze.
Adam
Not-
Sandler would pick the right transfer quarterback. I don't think he would. He would.
I
I
don't
like
think that
it.
was
It's a
close.
fit.
We're 3-2 right now to me. We're
That's a
3-2
fit
right
to
now
me.
to me.
That
They deviated a lot from Adam.
There's got to
Put
be
some
somebody
Oakleys
else.
on him, and that's Hugh Freeze.
I don't know. I'm not buying.
Maybe I'll watch it.
I'm not buying it.
You'll
We'll
watch.
see.
It's Adam Sandler.
I'll watch the trailer. Next one.
Woohoo, dopey. I'm going to throw the ball.
See, I've never thought.
Tom Cruise.
That doesn't look like Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise as
William
Brent Venables.
Dafoe needs to be Brent Venables.
Tom Cruise.
Willem
Yeah.
Dafoe needs to be Brent Venables. Are
Yeah.
you kidding me? He looks way more like him than Tom
Who's
Cruise.
that?
The guy who's the Green Goblin who's staring at the mask, like James Franco's dad.
I actually watched a movie with him last night. The
He's
Ice
good.
Cube Triple X.
Yeah, he's a good
He's
actor.
a villain in that.
He's a good actor. I would have Willem Dafoe. You could have done better, computer.
Next.
Is that Chris Pratt?
Is Billy
So
Napier?
Chris Pratt as Billy Napier.
I don't know. That doesn't look like Chris Pratt to me. His face isn't shaped
pass.
like that. Pass.
No,
Next.
it's not a fit. That's
Not a
thumbs down
fit.
to me.
You're doing too much. Well,
Jack Black as Mark Stoops.
no way. You know who I would have of? What's the guy's name? He's dead now. He was in. God, he's won all those awards. He's in. Along Came Polly.
Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Philip Seymour Hoffman could have been Mark Stoops.
You think so?
I think he'd have been better than
I'm
Jack
fine
Black.
with that. That's a thumbs up to me.
You're good with that? I don't
thumbs
know,
up to me.
man.
I don't
I
know.
don't know.
Pass.
I don't
I'd pass.
believe
Put a hat on and some glasses. Have him run around the sideline. That'll pass.
All right,
pass.
what do we got next? Last one. Mark Wahlberg as Shane Beamer.
Shane Beamer.
I'm good with it.
The Boston accent. I can't.
I'm good with it. He could change it.
It's just, it wouldn't be a fit.
I think Shane Beamer would take that one in spades too, buddy.
I think
Yeah,
you should get the
that's a
guy,
win.
the
Yeah.
guy who played Ant-Man.
Paul Rudd.
Paul Rudd?
Paul Rudd.
Huh.
I thought there was another one. I thought I saw Steve Carell at some.
Let me think. I don't know. I'd have to think about that.
They
But I
had-
don't think that's bad. I would
And they
accept
had
that.
Steve Carell as Drinkowitz.
They did. Okay. I can kind of.
Oh.
Well,
Well, what was the best one? Was the best one
it's Shane Gillis.
as Josh Heupel?
Shane Gillis got a lot of hype in them.
Yeah.
They're shaped the same too. Kind of got that Bobby Hill vibe
Yeah.
a little
Just-
bit. So not bad.
Just screams. 9
Yeah,
and 3.
come on. That guy right there. If
9
he
and
walked
3
into a
all day.
recruit's living room and said he was
I'd
Josh
believe
Heupel,
it.
I'd believe him.
9 and 3 written all over it. All right. Last reaction. LSU Stadium covered in snow. Did you guys see this yesterday?
Oh, yeah. Do we have the...
Snowstorms all around the South. Look at
Dude.
that.
You know what the first thing it reminded me of? And I actually put this on social media. The only time I've ever seen this before is when you change the settings on the college football video game where you can change the weather and it's snowing. This is just... I think it's beautiful. Look, I think snow is beautiful, but snow's only fun for 10 minutes. Like now, I'm so over it. When it snowed here in Nashville and we were in the hospital after we just gave birth to our child, I was over it in 10 minutes. I can see it. I'll touch it. I'll make one snowball. I'll throw it. Then I want it gone. That's my relationship with
Yeah,
snow.
I feel you on that. What did the guy say?
The LSU painted posse.
Oh, dude,
All
I
right,
saw this.
Tweeted 11/30/24. He says, "Hot take. All right, if it snows in your building, you don't belong in the SEC."
Ooh.
And then this happened, and he said what?
And then he tweeted the picture of the LSU covered in snow and says, "This is embarrassing." And you can't come back from that.
At least you brought it back. At least you had the guts to bring it back. Be careful what you type on X,
man. It's forever.
Imagine if that happened, though, and LSU was hosting a college football playoff game.
That would be insane.
Imagine if they were hosting a Big Ten team in that stadium, in that environment, though. Who has the advantage then? Does that nullify the LSU Death Valley home advantage?
It may not nullify all of it, but it brings you as close to even as it could ever.
Depends on if it's a night game or not.
I'm sorry.
Outside of all the referees graduating from Penn State, that's about as close as you're going to get.
They don't need anything else to get excited about.
It's about as close.
Those Cajuns are already excited about every little.
Oh, everybody's still drunk. Now you're just drunker. Because it heats you up. It's a way to survive. It's a real Revenant situation.
All right, boys, let's get to the phone lines. First one up today is Jennifer in Pennsylvania. Jennifer, you got 60 seconds. What's your hot take?
Hello? Jennifer, can you hear us?
Clock's ticking.
You can do this, Jen.
Jennifer, we believe in you.
There
we go. There we go. What's up?
The things that he has done with the Buffalo Bills this year, we were slated to be last. Nobody thought we would make the division, much less be in the playoffs. And yet, what was it, week 15, that we had our division completely locked up? He took no-name guys and has made us a team. We are totally inside the playoffs. I think we're going to beat Kansas City. It's going to be a fight, but I think we can do it. And we're going to go to the Super Bowl. The fact that he is not even being in the consideration for this is just a crime.
What's your score prediction?
Yeah, give us a score prediction.
I'm going to say 34-31, though.
34-31. All right. Bill,
is she talking about Sean McDermott not for Coach of the Year?
Yeah.
It's one of those things, Jennifer, and look, you brought up some great points. And they've been doing this. There was talk about Sean McDermott possibly getting fired at some points during the year, which I thought was the most asinine thing, but that's on the mainstream sports media channels where they're doing God knows what with who knows who behind, the scenes, if you know what I'm saying. But is it one of those things where he doesn't get the consideration because we're seeing the same movie, we just haven't seen a different ending? Is it going to take a different ending of the movie for him to be elevated back to that? It's kind of like, a lot of people during the year for Penn State, that's a great comp. She's from Pennsylvania. James Franklin's a lot of times in the conversation for National Coach of the Year, but he never wins it because we see the same movie over and over again. If James Franklin and them would have won the national championship or even got to the national championship game, that's him kind of shattering a glass ceiling for Penn State. I think Sean McDermott's in a similar thing. This is the main climax of the movie. This is the fight at the end. The Bills and the Chiefs. And typically the Bills go into the Chiefs. This is the main one. Can you beat Thanos? Right? Can you beat him? We're going to see if that's the case, and Sean McDermott needs to get it. But, Jennifer, I really appreciate you.
This is why those awards shouldn't be voted on until the end of the season.
And MVP, too.
Right? Yeah. All right, that line's open. Let's get a caller on it. In the meantime, we're going to Tyler in Oregon. Tyler, what's your hot take?
Hi, guys. My hot take is that Aaron Glenn and Ben Johnson were hired to the opposite teams that they should have. I'm going to focus mostly on the Chicago Bears for this one here. You're the Chicago Bears. You live in the Windy City. You are a traditional powerhouse program within the NFL. The last time that you went to the Super Bowl, you had Rex Grossman as your quarterback. You don't need an offensive coach, let alone one who just called an offense for an entire season in a dome. What you need is a defensive-minded guy in Aaron Glenn. Now, albeit I don't think he called a very good game on that last one, okay, but he's still a defensive-minded coach that can build the defense first, make sure the wind helps out with opposing teams' passing games, and that way you don't have to worry about Caleb Williams throwing the ball. You can have him run the ball, which is what anybody who watches football can understand, which is run the rock. As for Ben Johnson, you got Aaron Rodgers, you got Devontae. Get what you can out of that for another year or so.
Does anyone else disagree? Because I do.
I disagree, but I think they would have been fine even if they went to the opposite places because of the coaches that they are now. With Ben Johnson and kind of the tools he has, I think comparing the Bears and Jets situations, it's funny. It's like, watching two blind people fight. But when I look at what Ben Johnson is getting into with Caleb Williams, I understand what Tyler is saying about the identity of the Bears, but you spent a number one draft pick on a quarterback. You went to go get a generational quarterback. You are taking a chance now to bring in what you think could be a generational play caller. And just because stuff has happened in the past, just because Georgia Southern ran the triple option and won a bunch of D1AA national titles, doesn't mean they're going to win the Sun Belt every year and they have to run the triple option. You have to evolve. This league is an offensive league. Even the rules benefit the offense. So I think the Bears mixed it up. They did the Lovie Smith thing. They did the Eberflus thing. They've done the defensive coach thing, and it hasn't worked. I actually think kudos to them for mixing it up and bringing in a guy on offense. Now, as far as Aaron Glenn going to the Jets, I mean, Tyler, I could use your argument to say the Jets are a defensive team. You're in New York. You play outside. It ain't exactly warm or not windy. So I see what he's saying, and this is the hot take hotline, right? I don't expect you to come in with some peanut butter and jelly take. I liked it Tyler from Oregon came in here throwing.
He's passionate about it.
I just disagree.
There's just no way the Chicago Bears were going to go from Matt Eberflus, a defensive coach, to another defensive coach when you drafted Caleb Williams, number 1, in that division where you're possibly getting left behind with the offense that the Lions have had.
And the
Vikings are
and
doing,
the Packers.
And the Packers. So anyway, I do love how passionate he is about the take. Hey, let's get another hot take from you next week, brother. That line's open. Let's get someone on it. In the meantime, Kirk in Canada, you got 60 seconds, man. What's your hot take?
Oh, first of all, Jake, you make me laugh, man. I laughed out loud when you said I can handle snow for 10 minutes.
It's the truth. I was up in Montana. I was basically like that dude in Harry Potter that just sat inside that old house for a while. I didn't even go outside.
It was -6 Fahrenheit this morning. So, you know it's cold when even a Canadian's going, gee, it's cold this morning.
Yeah, but Kirk, it's always the wind that gets you, right? It's not the temperature, it's the wind.
Absolutely. The other reason I called is 3 weeks from today, they're dropping the puck on something called the Four Nations Face-Off, Canada, U.S., Sweden, Finland. This is the first time, gentlemen, that an international best-on-best tournament has happened since the 2014 Olympics, and I am stoked for it. It's going to be awesome.
Well, I can't wait till next year when it's the three-nation puck because Canada's in the United States, Kirk. So enjoy the last year of it. Welcome home.
Yeah. You're American
You ever been to Jacksonville?
Yeah. You're American now, Kirk.
Yeah. Come on home, Kirk.
All right, let's get a caller on that line. Thanks for calling, Kirk. And we're going to go to Dylan in Boise, Idaho. Dylan, what's your hot take?
Hey, I've been watching a lot of the – how's it going, guys?
What up, man?
Oh, hey. So I've been watching a lot of the Cowboys coaching search, and they just announced that they're probably going to go with Brian Schottenheimer. And I think this is just going to devalue the Cowboys a lot. It just is a terrible take from a fan.
I mean, how did the Cowboys not make a splash hire? Look, I got a lot of respect for the shot. What do you think, just personally? You think this is just a stopgap? Which I don't know how it's a stopgap right now. Or have they quit on Dak, or what's the deal?
They want to bring in someone that Dak likes, from what I hear,
bro.
And when you could hire on anyone because you're the richest man in the NFL and you go with the cheapest option possible.
This is just like when.
What can we do?
You know, the Cowboys are going to let Dak ruin them. And I know Dak's supposedly a really good guy. This is just, I just don't understand it. What has he got on y'all? What pictures does Dak Prescott have? You're going to let Dak Prescott pick the coach? How about you shut up and play good? How about that? How about you shut up and make a full season? This is just like when you look at that unbelievably nice, just good-looking guy, got a great job, makes like $150K, treats the kids right, but you look at his wife and she's the worst. She's like a 5. She's got an attitude. She thinks she's an 8, right? She goes and maxes out the credit card every other weekend. That's what it feels like.
Not the credit card, too.
Dude, it just feels like when, and listen, it's just like when I look at Nate Oates' wife. I'm like, what?
So this...
What?
Hey,
so there was... Wow.
I'm just saying.
Hey, so much just happened.
Maybe he met her when he was a math teacher.
How about Brian Schottenheimer for you? Huh?
Things don't be fixed in Dallas until Jerry Jones gets out.
Okay.
I'm sorry. It's like...
Nate Oates' wife, I'm sure, is a great woman.
We're going with Schottenheimer.
Maybe that was a bad comp.
He wasn't even the good OC at Georgia. Yeah, it's like... You would rather have Schottenheimer than Deion Sanders.
Yes.
All right? You would.
Yes, but not Mike McCarthy. He was already the OC for Mike McCarthy.
That's my big thing. How is this an upgrade?
I'm having trouble understanding.
You don't get, Ben Johnson. He goes to the Bears.
Yeah.
Right? to the Bears. Like, you let him go to the Bears.
You went from Ben Johnson to you are
Dallas is
Johnson.
No more. It's no longer America's team. Like that phase of life, it's over with.
It's dead.
It's over with. Maybe y'all can be Greenland's team. I don't know.
Yeah, that's who he ought to coach.
Y'all should be the national team of Canada.
The Greenland State Eskimo.
Don't know about that, but let's go to Gannon in Arizona. Gannon, what's your hot take?
So it's me, Gannon, your local ASU fan, but I haven't had time to call in because I've been working a lot.
Atta boy.
So first of all, last year was one of the best years. So ASU next year, we're gonna make stuff splash. I'm telling you. But that's not what I'm calling about. What I'm calling about is the Buffalo Bills and the Kansas City Chiefs. This is my hot take. I think the Buffalo Bills, I don't really have a bias, this is a gut feeling. The Buffalo Bills are going to destroy the Kansas City Chiefs.
Destroy. Give me a score, Gannon. Define destroy.
It's going to be over by the fourth quarter.
Like Josh Allen doesn't even play in the fourth?
How long have you lived at Rainbow Land? And who took you there?
I like this.
I'm telling you, it's just a feeling. Sometimes it's karma. Like, I've seen the Kansas City, they've won one-score games all year. And eventually that will swing back around. And it happens when it's like the most bitter. It's just this gut
I just feel like Matt.
You win all these one-score games. You're going to win all these one-score games, and you get all these calls. I'm telling you, it's going to come crashing down.
But they did this last year.
I know. I just feel like every time someone calls in and says someone's going to destroy the Chiefs in the playoffs, I just feel like Matthew McConaughey in Interstellar. When he's in between the walls and he's hitting on the
bookshelf.
He's like, come back, Murph.
Don't go.
Come back. I've just seen this movie before.
To stay on theme with the which is more likelies here, if I told you that one of these quarterbacks won't even play in the fourth quarter because it's that much of a blowout, would you go with Patrick Mahomes or Josh Allen?
I'd go with Josh Allen because that meant he got hurt. He ran it too much and they hurt him. Like, not just because it's going to be a blowout. I think the Bills can win. Now, I picked the Chiefs. Y'all know that. I got the Chiefs and the Commanders. By the way, we're going to live stream the game Sunday here. We had 300,000 views on our national championship live stream. Let's see if we can beat that. But I'm just not. You can beat the Chiefs. You ain't beating them up. But not at home. Not in this moment. At home with Mahomes.
What do you think?
I would probably say I'd be Patrick Mahomes.
With the way the Chiefs have played on offense.
Yeah.
More likely for the
Yeah. Because, again, you don't only have to beat the Chiefs. You got to beat the refs.
Stop with the refs.
You got to know. I will not stop with the refs.
Okay.
You have to beat the refs, and it's at Arrowhead. So, I would say Patrick Mahomes.
All right. Let's move on to Steve in Ohio. Steve, what's your hot take, brother?
Hey!
What's up?
What's up, Steve?
All right. My hot take is that Ohio State fans can be happy about winning the Natty and still be pissed at Ryan Day for losing 4 in a row to Michigan.
Yeah.
Especially.
I think they are.
Especially when Ohio State had the best roster money could buy this year.
Didn't Woody Hayes say you can't claim the national championship if you lost to Michigan?
See, I think
Did he say that?
Okay. Woody Hayes had it split up in 3 different seasons. 1 was regular season, 2 was Michigan, and 3 was bowl season.
Yeah.
I just feel like Ohio State fans are playing this all wrong. If it's me, I wouldn't even, who cares? They don't even matter to us.
You're making
we care about national championship.
Yeah.
That's what we care about.
So,
we don't care about these
to
guys.
Steve's point, I actually agree that you could harbor both of those. I get it. But this is just yet another example of why yesterday I sat up here and opened the show. Ryan Day, you got to get out, dog. Guess what? You were in the escape room, but there was no escape hatch. Then all of a sudden you found one. And where does it lead? To Jacksonville.
Well, what if it was Auburn, though? Switch it to Auburn, though. All right? Switch it to Auburn. You know that program as well as anybody. What if Auburn just won the national championship and you lost to Alabama? You lost to Alabama for the 4th year in a row. And the head coach beat them one time 5 years ago. What would you be saying to that head coach?
Oh, I stopped listening after you said won the national championship.
So the Iron Bowl would just then
that's the only way.
Then the new format, the games do lose importance.
So no, but again, like I've seen in the old format, I watched Auburn beat Alabama. I think it was 2017. Go to the SEC Championship game, lose to Georgia, get left out of the 4-team playoff, and Alabama, who lost to Auburn, got put in and won it. So maybe it's because Auburn has sucked so bad for what feels like forever now. And it's been like 4 to 5 years, which is still like so long at Auburn. If you asked me, David, if you said, Jake, which deal would you take? You lose to Bama 4 times in a row, and on the end of the 4th season, you win the national championship, or you beat Alabama 4 times in a row, but at the end of the 4th year, Bama wins the national championship. The Iron Bowl rivalry from a number standpoint is somewhat close, pretty decently close. The national championship race between Auburn and Alabama, which that is kind of how we, that's our biggest, that's why they call us little brother or whatever, because we don't have many national. I want those. I want that. I want marriage. Yeah, we may have hooked up in high school, but I married her. How about them apples?
By the way, you feel about an Auburn national championship in a year that you didn't beat Alabama?
I could care less about beating. If we win the national championship, I could care less about beating Alabama.
Wow,
like I really.
That's the greatest rivalry in the sport.
At the end of the day,
the greatest rivalry in the sport.
Why do you play football to win the national championship?
So then, don't say it's the greatest rivalry in the sport.
Well, David, I think, but.
Steve's mad at Ryan Day right now. To that point, though,
he's mad. He's not mad at Ryan.
But to that point, if Auburn had been good the years before that, like Michigan, who won it's like Michigan. You won the national championship 2 years ago. All right. Yeah, you lost 5 games this year. You beat Ohio State. Ohio State wins the national championship. You're fine with it because you won the national championship the year before. Auburn had been, dog, we haven't won 6 games or 7 games in like 4 years. So if this was back when Tuberville was doing it or Gus was cooking, it would probably be a different story. But since we've been so bad recently, I would take a national championship because that would mean we're back and therefore we're going to start beating Alabama at some point.
Yeah, y'all have more natties than Ohio State.
Huh?
Y'all have more natties than Ohio State.
Say it again.
Y'all have 11 natties. Ohio State has 8.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll keep asking.
Let me go pull up.
Yeah.
Let me go pull up Alabama's natties to Auburn so I can cry for the rest of the day.
Yeah. Right, let's go to Kendall in Illinois. Kendall, what's your hot take?
Hey, fellas. Jake, congratulations on becoming a father.
Thanks, brother.
Make sure you get that girl a softball bat. Make sure she's a lefty, has that smooth lefty swing.
Yeah, well, she's a Crain. She ain't going to be running very fast, and I only leaves one other option, and I don't think she's going to want to be the 4-hole. I'm going to give her a set of golf clubs, and we're going to go out there, shoot even, and get a college scholarship.
There you go. All right, my hot take. Illinois football will compete for the Big Ten title. I'm not saying they're going to win it, but I think they will be in the running, and I think they will make the college football playoff next year. We have all 5 returning offensive linemen. We have Luke Altmaier back. We have to replace a couple wide receivers, but I think we're going to be okay.
Hey, Kendall.
And on defense, too. What's up?
I was going to say, and keep me on the line for a second, because this is, I want to ask, how disrespected did the Illinois fan base feel? Because if you look at the numbers with like y'all and Ole Miss and South Carolina and Alabama, there wasn't a lot of difference, and nobody was talking about y'all making the college football playoff in the Big Ten.
Honestly, Jake, I thought we could have made it, but in all reality, I mean, we had one bad loss to Minnesota. I think there was teams that were better than us.
Yeah. Okay.
And I mean, that's just how I see it. I mean,
Gotcha.
Yeah, we lost to Penn State and Oregon. We were in the game at Penn State until the 4th quarter. We got our asses kicked by Oregon. So, I mean, I'm not disrespected by it at all.
Gotcha.
I love it. That's a hot take, Kendall.
Kendall.
Thanks for calling in. All right, let's go to Jackson in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Jackson, what's your hot take?
What's up, guys? My hot take is that if the SEC wants more teams in, they have to fix their scheduling. And when I say that, I mean they need to not change the opponents that they're playing, but the timing of those games. Like if you look at Alabama was coming off the Georgia game and then lost to Vandy when they were coming off a bye week. And they lost to Oklahoma. They played a game. Oklahoma had a bye week and played at home. If you are going to fix the schedules, you need to make it where if a team has a bye week and another team doesn't, the team that has the bye week has to be the road team. Because like, if you look at
I don't hate that
against LSU,
I don't hate.
If you look at the Ole Miss game. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I don't hate that. I just wonder if it's mathematically feasible.
I was going to say that. Is it mathematically possible?
Yeah, I don't know if it is. But if the goal of the schedule makers is to put the SEC, give them the best opportunity to get the most teams in, I actually agree with what he said. But what I don't know is when you took away divisions and you did that so you could play a home and away against everybody every 4 years, is it mathematically feasible to make sure that if you have a bye week, you go on the road that next game? I'd have to look that up. I'd have to ask somebody smarter than me. But Jackson, I've never heard anybody bring that up before.
There's got to be someone in the chat who knows math good enough to answer that question. We got one last caller on the line. Let's go to Jack in Charleston. Jack, what's your hot take?
Oh, I'm in a dark hole, boys.
Uh-oh.
Flat spin. The Irish blew it. I feel like we could have beat that team, and we could have beat them bad. But you know what? We didn't do it. Props to OSU. But the people that say that this is still your older brothers, Notre Dame, they sneak by people because there's injuries or whatever, get off my lawn. I'm sorry. Freeman's bringing some new energy.
I agree with you 100%, Jack. 100%. And let's tell the truth here. The old Notre Dame teams, they ain't coming back in that game. I don't think they're coming back in that game like that. I mean, we live streamed the whole thing. Notre Dame had a chance, multiple chances. How much? I don't know if Jack's still on the line. Jack, you still there?
I think he's gone.
He's off. I wanted to ask him what kind of the fan base is feeling about the play calling and the decision making from Marcus Freeman, just from the inside. But I agree with him. Marcus Freeman has brought a new swag to this place. It is a new Notre Dame. Right? Sometimes you got to go in there and get a facelift, right? You got to change some things.
Yeah.
And that's what I feel like it is with Notre Dame. This wasn't a Alabama destroying Notre Dame like they did when Brian Kelly.
There's nothing Brian Kelly could have done in that game.
No.
There is zero.
No, that was recruiting. That was just recruiting.
Like Brian Kelly couldn't have did it. There wasn't a magical sauce.
That's just recruiting.
Could have brought out and you're not coming back against that team.
Yeah.
I think that team would probably mop both these teams we just saw in the NFC Championship game.
I don't know about mop Ohio State, but I would have taken that Alabama team over both of those teams. I still would have, because that was one of the years where Saban monopolized the sport.
Great job on the hot take hotline.
Hot take hotline. Great job today. Very, very interesting that the Jacksonville conversation came up.
Just the saying they're going to just absolutely kill the Chiefs. I just can't. I just don't know how you.
But it's the hot take hotline, man. You got to come in here and sling arrows, dog.
I get it. I just don't know how you get to that point mentally.
You got to come in here.
Let it happen, though.
I respect it, though.
Let it happen. It's
called Ozempic. Anyways, last night 2-0. Nobody's talking about it. We just chop our feet here. All right, we just chop our feet here. Shout out to Texas. They needed that win badly last night, and Alabama just melted Vandy. Could smell that one tonight. Ole Miss at home versus Texas A&M. That's a ranked matchup, boys, in basketball. Yes, you heard that right. Give me Chris Beard and the boys -2.5 at -125. Then TCU at home against David Cohn's favorite transfer basketball player, Hunter Dickinson, at Kansas. TCU coming off a huge win at Baylor, getting some of that momentum coming back. Jamie Dixon, head coach. It looks like him and Carmine Falcone are trying to kill Batman. But I got TCU +6.5 at -118.
All right. I did take out Vanderbilt last night. I'll never do it again, though. Tonight, I'm going to take St. John's -6.5. They're hosting Xavier, and those odds are -130. And then give me a little parlay here. I'm going to take Houston -7.5, and I'm going to take Kansas -3.5. Those two together are -120.
All right. I love a little 1-and-1 action yesterday. It's just,
shameful.
Can't come through when you need it the most. All right. Give me South Carolina. Let's go Cox. +11.5. It's going up -115. I don't know why you're up there laughing.
Well, just you emphasized it.
What, Cox?
Yeah.
It's their mascot.
Okay. Can you spell it?
Is there a K in it?
You want to be the mayor?
Then I'm going Kansas. -5.5. It's going off at -118. Hunter Dickinson is 13 feet tall and loves poetry. And
Kansas kind of sucks this year, though. All right, let's go to Aces.
Are they ranked? What are they?
They're ranked, but they're not. They have
they're
guys
ranked 12th. They're 13-4.
Yeah, but if you watch, they're not an elite. They have pieces. They're not the Kansas you're used to seeing. All right, Ace is going to go Florida, South Carolina over 147.5 tonight. That's in Columbia and South Carolina. They hoffed a hobbit at -110. Then we're riding the Lightning. I love it, Ace. We're vibing. We're mind-mouthing. He took Bama last night, too. Ole Miss -3.5. That's going off at -110. All right. We're going to get to Fit It in a minute. Then we're going to get to the chat and these donos. If you don't know, David Cohn has 1 minute to read the sports news. And if he doesn't, we kill him emotionally.
He's done well. He's still here.
He's done well. He's still alive. We'll see if he can make it to Thursday. David Cohn, you have 1 minute to read the sports news. Let's get it up there. The clock. We ready, Justine? All right, David Cohn.
More losses for Detroit as Lions defensive line coach Terrell Williams is leaving that role to become the defensive coordinator for the New England Patriots. He previously worked with head coach Mike Vrabel with the Tennessee Titans. 9-time Pro Bowl pass rusher Khalil Mack is returning in 2025. He considered retiring after finishing the season with the Chargers, but will not, and he will be an unrestricted free agent for the first time in his 11-year NFL career. The Raiders are set to hire John Spytek as their new general manager. Spytek was the assistant GM for the Bucs, and he played with Raiders minority owner Tom Brady at Michigan in 1999. New Titans GM Mike Brognosi has opened the door for Tennessee to trade the number 1 overall draft pick, saying draft picks are the biggest form of currency. So when there's an opportunity to trade back to collect more picks, we're going to do that, unquote.
Good job. You got it. A couple things there. One, hiring a guy with the last name Spytek in the NFL. I like it. And that's also the first time Tom Brady's ever been called a minority.
That is true. Bragonzi.
Not as easy as it looks, David, is it?
Okay, there's a difference between
not as easy
that Italian name and E-A-G-L-G-L-G-L-D.
Whenever I laugh at you for not being able to pronounce the hockey names, I don't do so thinking I could do better. It's just funny for you not to.
That's a laugh you give off. Like it's the elitist laugh.
Oh, yeah?
Very elitist laugh.
Well, I want to make sure I keep that up so that the chat doesn't make me read them.
There you go. All right, let's get these donations. Let's go to a $5 donation from Travis Shuttleworth. Thank you, Travis. He says, we don't hang banners for beating Teton. It's natty or a bust. O-H-I-O.
We don't what?
We don't hang banners for beating Teton.
That team up north. If I lost to us 4 times in a row, I'd maybe make the game a little bit unimportant, too. What losers.
I love it.
Wow, never thought I'd hear it. Woody Hayes just rolled over in his
He said his
grave.
name's Travis?
Travis Shuttleworth.
You ought to call
Travis
in
Shuttlesworth.
Travis.
You should call in. Is that Jesus' father from He Got Game? You better be.
Yeah, he's working
Better
on his
buckle
J.
up tight.
All right, let's get a $5 donation from The Buck. Appreciate it. It says, we don't care about them boys from Michigan. We win natties. That guy on the right's weird, and we all know it.
Hey, which way are you looking at the show, though? It's not me. I'm in the middle. Hey, how about this? Should we have it tomorrow where only Ohio State fans can call in? Should we have that where it's like, and you just got y'all got to go at it?
Good luck.
Let's bully Wilder Balderrama. Wilder Balder Mama.
In a year where we beat them? Are you kidding me? This is still new territory for me these last 4 years. Let them call in.
All right, let's get a $5 donation from Baked In. Appreciate it. O-H-I-O. Natties, son. Natties.
I love this.
$5 donation from Jay Wood. Appreciate it. Titans should take Shadur over Cam Ward at 1. Fight me.
Nah, I disagree.
Let's go to a $5 donation from Shane H7. Appreciate it, Shane. He says, O-H-I-O. Trust me, on this side, it just means more. That guy on the right looks poor.
Can I leave? Like, is my job done?
When did this happen?
Is my job done today?
This is amazing.
It's just getting off the calls now.
Hey, at least if somebody's going to talk trash to you, they're paying money. Listen, I'd say
I'm fine with it.
$5, say whatever you want.
Let's go to a $5 donation from the Wolf. What's up? I appreciate it. It says, Coney, don't worry about these children over here in Ohio. We beat their ass when it matters most, and everybody saw it. They can take that easy natty. We not worried over it.
I just got chills from that one, Wolf. Imagine trying to make flag planting a felony after you got your ass kicked. Imagine that.
Hey.
Let's go to a $3 donation from Khan. Appreciate it, Khan. This is the same guy who wears Bosleys and hate when people plant flags. We just got Bryce Underwood. Look at my face. Does it look like I'm worried?
So there's a little war in there today.
I love it. $5 donation from BCC. What's up, man? More on how dumb the English language is. Einstein has the I before E rule wrong twice in his name.
Wow. See, now I don't have time to get philosophical. I can't do it.
Got a lot going on, man.
I got a lot.
All right, let's go to the last donation of the day. A $5 donation from Mike. Appreciate it, Mike. He says, don't worry about these Ohio State losers. They're dumb. We're smart. We'll be back next year. Ryan Day colors his beard. What a loser. Ha, 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 ha. Hashtag ha, 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 ha.
I hope he gets a contract extension.
Yeah, this is great. This is absolutely great. All right. Appreciate all the donations, guys.
Yeah.
All right.
Way to go, chat.
Appreciate you guys. Great calls today. That was pretty cool. Same time tomorrow. Don't forget, we're live streaming the AFC and NFC Championship game Sunday. Do not miss it from Mission Cigar and Social again. And go buy one of our hats. We have one of these up here. I can't see that far right now.
Yes.
Scratch my eyes. Go buy one of our cool hats. They're flying off the shelves. We're going to have to order more, but make sure you go get some. We got a new one. If these do well enough, we're going to drop in the spring. And just like the chances of Michigan and Ohio State fans getting along, or that hat not being pure gasoline, we're going. Gone. Yeah. You saw that one. See ya.